Hello, everybody, this is Purge, and I'm going to be doing a replay commentary of Paradox and Deadlock. A couple things before I start. There's a replay bug that's going on where if I try to go back 60 seconds, it goes to about 2 minutes. So I think there must be some replay issue in the first 2 minutes that caused me not to go there. But it's not a huge deal. We'll just go through what's happening in the game. This is one of my most played heroes right now. And Paradox as a hero, the value of the hero is basically in utility. Your basic goal is to pull an enemy out of position, and by doing so, it makes it easier for your team to get a kill on those heroes. We're gonna have to deal with a couple of replay bugs, unfortunately, due to the nature of Deadlock's replays being a little bit buggy. But I'm just going to try to go over some of the things that I'm thinking about consistently through the laning stage. One of which is get these golden statues. I think these are really undervalued by players at probably most MMRs, just because they give you permanent buffs that last for the rest of the game. They're really valuable, especially in the early period of the game. Like, I just got I don't know if that was an ammo increase or that one was really weird. I didn't get that last hit. I don't know if if that was a weapon or ammo, but weapon damage costs a lot of money. Ammo is not super easy to get either. Fire rate increases. All that stuff adds up. If you are just better at like getting golden statues than your opponents, that shit's gonna add up big. So, as Paradox, my goal in the laning stage is basically just going to be mostly focusing on last hits. I don't feel very strong as a player at harassing and going for kills sometimes. Some heroes are easier or better at it, but with Paradox, I kind of just focus on getting last hits, and I do oftentimes end up in these 1v1s, which doesn't bother me that much. So a couple things to talk about. First of all, I really focused on defensive items with my first couple items. You can adjust these based on what you're playing against, but for me, I generally overbuy defensive items a little bit, and that's because typically I tend to win my laning stages over other players just because of my MOBA skills, of course. And generally, I'm better at last hitting than my opponents. I last hit a little bit worse than this guy in this game, so you'll see him out deny me by a little bit. I think in the end, I had like 4 denies. He had like 8 or something, at least at 8 minutes or something like that. But here's the basics of how your skills work. I'm going to pause very briefly while I jump into this, if I can. Okay, so your first skill is going to throw a bomb on the ground that pulses and does damage per second. Damage every time it pulses, and it slows people while they're in it. And the damage amp that they take is damage that I deal to them, not my teammates, just me. So the more time they're in the pulse, the more damage I do. My second skill, Time Wall, what it does is it makes a wall that's going to slow down damage that goes through it, and if my opponents walk through the wall, they're going to take 10% of their max health as a nuke, and also be a little bit slowed. Third skill, basically, you charge it up to full, and when you do that, it does a stun effectively. It's not really a stun, it's more like a 100% slow thing that stops them in their tracks for up to a second and a half, basically. And once it's fully charged, I also run extra fast. But with that bullet, it does a bunch of extra damage based on my right click, and my right click becomes, or my attack becomes, a spirit type nuke, basically. But you should be using it to set up some of your skills, basically keep them inside the pulse grenade longer, or to set up your swap, which you're using to it's a projectile speed. It has a slightly limited range early, but if you hit somebody with it, it'll swap your position with theirs. It'll do damage to them. The damage that you deal with the swap will heal you for 100% of the damage dealt. And that's basically it. So you're basically trying to keep them in your pulse grenade. You're trying to block their damage with Time Wall. You're trying to swap them through Time Wall to do damage if you can. And you're trying to use Kinetic Carbine to disable them and to set all this up. Usually you do Kinetic Carbine into swap, or Kinetic Carbine into Pulse Grenade, into swap. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this, basically. So I'm just going to briefly go here and then back so that I have my perspective again. My defensive items that I prioritized here in this laning stage. I don't know why he's so low here, but he seemed a little bit of a weak Abrams in my experience. I feel like this should be a kill. Yeah, I spent a long time chasing there, but I eventually got him at least. Oh no, my body's being pulled into the stairwell. Probably shouldn't have healed there. I could have saved that for later. Ooh, I messed that one up. But my items are relatively defensive here. I've got Healing Right, which is basically like a healing salve in Dota. You can use it every 60 seconds. And then I've got Extra Regen, which I generally like purchasing because it gives you 3 health per second. 25 bonus health, and 10% ammo. So this is why I walked into this room, because I have a chance, basically, to end up getting... I pressed my thing late, unfortunately. I used that badly. That's not good. If he wants to run through there, he'll take some damage. So I'm just going to use this moment to like get some stamina. And I'm going to stay up here so that he can't slap me. But at moments like this where I'm kind of in trouble, buying time for stamina is generally pretty good. And I figured I might as well shoot him since I'm here. Oh yeah, another item that I got that's defensive is Restorative Shot. It gives you bullet resist out of a weapon, which is quite good. So 7% less damage from shots as well as melee stuff. And then also it gives you every 5.5 seconds you can heal when attacking NPCs or heroes. So it helps offset the HP you may have lost. And also reduces the damage you're taking. So these are just a couple items that I sometimes like buying because it makes my laning stage a bit easier. And then if you're ever in trouble, you stand behind the Guardian. If the creep wave is pushed up like this, it's usually pretty worth it to use nukes, because it's going to make sure that they die. Thankfully, he wasn't still there to deny. If he was, I would have been more vulnerable, basically. I also bought Mystic Shot. This is a really, really common item on some heroes, but it's really solid on Paradox. Because what it does is it basically gives you a spirit damage nuke every 5.2 seconds here. Oops, sorry, sometimes the reticle gets weird because of the replay. I swapped him here to get him closer to the tower. Pretty easy kill at that point. I didn't use the setup, I just figured which way he was going, so it made it kind of easy. But those were the 2 kills I got here. If I ever see the statues, I'm always going to go kill these. Just because if I'm killing those and he isn't, then I'm getting buffs. And when you kill 3 of them, there's usually at least 1 that you're picking up. So I just got 2 spirit power for the whole entire rest of the game, which is very good. And when he's not here, obviously can push the wave very quickly. The other cool thing about these 2 things together is they have about the same cooldown. So if you are right-clicking a person, they're usually going to line up a little bit, and you'll see them come off cooldown, so you can kind of do the damage. And then, very weirdly, Abrams actually didn't come back to my lane. He ended up going to gank, which was just a bad idea, because that basically guarantees that I take the tower. Keep in mind, there was a nerf recently for the creeps dealing damage to Guardians, so you really just need player damage to kill these. And that's exactly what I got to do here. So I'm going to clear the creep wave, and now that that's done, I'm basically looking for nearby camps that I might be able to farm. I'm going over here to see if this is alive, and it is. So happy to take any neutral creeps that are on his side of the map, because it means that I'm more likely to get... it's basically less net worth that he's going to be able to get. But when you do this, you have to be kind of careful, because your opponent usually can hear you. And in this case, he used charge. I could hear that. And I just wanted to back up so that he couldn't get the charge off. So if he just doesn't like land some of these abilities, I'm relatively safe. He's doing some AoE damage here through me, through the ground, but I'm just really not too fussed too much. I'm on cooldown for a lot of abilities, so I'm just not even going to bother contesting him. So again, another 2 spirit power for free. Now I'm grabbing some other green items that will make my HP a little bit higher, but more specifically will give me more stamina and... other survivability. Stamina and movement speed, actually. A little bit of regen, too. Make sure you shoot those when the Guardian punches them. They fly through the air, and if you don't last hit them there, they usually die before they get timed out. So, I'm basically just focused on sitting here because there's lane creeps. I should have parried that. That would have been cool. But this Abrams is pretty weak compared to like most Abrams I play against. I'm basically just waiting to see if he wants to punch me. Usually when they charge you into a tower, you can't parry it. It looked kind of close here though, and I'm pretty interested in fighting him because I still have all my cooldowns and he used a lot of his. I kept thinking that was going to interrupt his punch, but again, it's not a stun. So I just utilized my higher net worth. If you look at my net worth, I'm at 7,000 and he's at 5k. So I just have more items than him, which means that I'm just gonna have higher HP, do more damage, stuff like that. So, and he hasn't really felt like he's been using his skills very well, so that just gave me more confidence to fight. So at this point, what should I do? I'm pushing the creep wave up because I got a kill. I'm again gonna take neutral camps from his side of the map. Probably I'm only gonna be able to get some of this. I don't want to stay for that last one for 2 reasons. Number one, I would have to reload my clip fully just to kill it. Number two, it would make me to stay there longer, which means he has a chance to come over and pressure. And it's fine to just leave it because that means when he goes to clear it later, it's not going to be as full. And I was a little bit worried about him looking for me right now, so I just did a check in there to see if there was any bonus. Denying at this point in the game, by the way, after 8 minutes is really, really good because you end up taking all of the gold. They upped this timer a little bit recently to be earlier in the game, so to make denies a little bit more impactful. Because they're a seriously big deal at this stage. So I'm just going to focus on getting all the creeps because he doesn't seem to be here anymore. And as soon as I see him again, I'm going to immediately start trying to deny. He did get a lot of those, but that's okay. If I see neutral camps again, I'm going to throw spells down, get them cleared. There's usually 2 boxes in there that I check for as well. You kind of just need to get used to what's on the map, basically. And the only thing I'd criticize myself for is I could have filled out more item slots here. I could have gotten extra spirit early because it's very cheap. It's only 500 souls. So usually it's just good to fill out your item slots with really cheap ones if you can manage it. But in the times that I played Paradox, I have found that Tesla bullets is actually pretty good on this character. And that's because I have a 5-round burst, basically. That means every time I pull the trigger, I shoot 5 bullets. Guy seems... I missed my swap here. That was bad. He got away. Good for him. Not exactly the best shield I've ever put down. Be kind of careful here. I managed to kill him right before I died. So the recent pulse or Tesla bullets are good on this character is 2 things. Number 1, your only good farm skill is pulse grenade. So you kind of need more AoE, otherwise you can't jungle very well. And this is on a pretty long cooldown. Even with the cooldown reduction, it's 17 seconds here with the small cooldown amps that I have. So between Mystic Shot and Tesla bullets, I have 2 sources of spirit damage that I can do just by right-clicking, which is pretty good. I also pick up a cooldown, improved cooldown, which I generally will grab on this character, and I also have Mystic Burst, which is mostly going to be used with my 3rd skill. I don't think my Pulse Grenade does enough damage to proc it, and maybe Mystic Bullets can, or Mystic Shot. This might work. However, Mystic Burst only works... I wish I could, like, use my mouse without the perspective getting fucked up, but... what was I saying? Mystic Burst only works if the damage dealt after reduction is high enough, by the way. So upgrading that skill sometimes is bad because your damage won't be high enough to get that kill. Now it looks like our Guardian is it being pressured? No, it looks like it's not there. Oh, it still is there, sorry. So Pocket's pushing up a little bit. I might want to go over there and defend it, but it looks like Infernus is close enough so I can kind of do whatever I want instead. And I'm going to continue doing a little bit of jungling here since I have Tesla bullets. But instead, there's some fighting going on, so I'm kind of interested in fighting here. I maybe could have done a swap here. That guy was like new to Abrams or something. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Should be securing all of these last hits if possible. Looks like I'm blue. Ooh, I missed my swap there. You can kind of see the AoE when I clicked it. But this whole time, maybe I should have just gone to jungle instead. I get a lot of damage from that guy. Always happy to get these creeps if I can. And I'll just punch him. If my ammo's that low, like I'm just gonna punch him till he dies. Probably the worst pulse grenade that's ever been used. I should have used that earlier. He got a lot of lifesteal there off of me. Abrams usually buys that lifesteal item with punches. This one here, life strike. So don't let him punch you because that gave him a gigantic amount of health. Anyways, luckily he did it twice in a row, and I usually learn after the first punch that it's time to parry. When there's downtime from pushing waves, I always want to go do a jungle that's nearby if possible, and then after reassessing how things are looking, I can go do something else. I'm going to try to steal all of these last hits if possible. There's Pocket playing near us. I was looking for maybe swapping here, but I ate so much damage from this orb. was the most I'd ever taken. It was like 400 damage. But I didn't land my shot. Skill build wise, I actually max out Pulse Grenade first, and I'll talk about why in a second. Because right now I'm farming for the item that really changes his character a lot. In the last patch, this Pulse Grenade damage, it's always gone up with the third point, but now it gets bigger radius per pulse. So it's getting slowly bigger over time. And this is a really big deal because it makes the skill a lot more viable in team fights, basically. Managed to parry him there. And then I swapped him. He basically ate 5 pulses there, which is why he took so much damage. So that was a really nice fight.
You've got to learn to respect me.
This is kind of crazy by him.
Our walker is under attack. The spirit is waiting to be claimed.
This man came down to steal the souls that I rightly got. That was basically a solo kill. Okay, so the reason that I want the pulse to get bigger is because it's going to be easier to use in a team fight. A lot of the struggle that I have with Paradox is that getting solo kills is kind of hard. There aren't really a lot of items that solve that problem on this character. Like, it just feels hard to kill some guy from full to 0. You can usually do like 60, 75% of their HP, but it's kind of difficult, I find, to get the kill. Unless you buy this item. And I think this item completely revolutionized how Paradox feels to me. Because it does 2 things. It increases your farm speed by a huge amount. And it makes killing enemy heroes so much easier. Now, one thing I should have done is started jungling here before I collected these. And then, but watch this. With Echo Shard, I can now throw 2 down. Now, if we look at that purple number on the left, that's how much damage your abilities or your spell damage or your spirit damage is doing to your opponent. Whether that's a creep or something else. And occasionally between jungle camps, this is a really good thing to do. Is to go to a lane, clear the wave out, and then go back to jungle. So let's watch the numbers again on the main one. First pulse grenade, second pulse grenade. So I did 1,035 damage, including right clicks. From like Tesla bullets and Mystic Shot to the large one, and that's right after I get it, so I still have a lot of spirit growth to do. Again, gonna push out a creep wave. I probably didn't need to pulse grenade that because I could have just shot it with my Tesla bullets, but I'm pretty much gonna use the Echo Shard whenever I have the opportunity. And if they don't actually come to defend their walkers, I should be able to take these pretty quickly, again because of the pulse grenade, which increases the damage I deal. I'm now going to launch my ass away whenever somebody comes to defend. I probably could have gotten punished more than that. Maybe I die. I don't know if they wanted to commit. But if there are ever golden statues, I'm always super down to pick those up. I sold my my little healing salve item. Seems like a decent fight. Do you see how much damage I did to that guy?
Burn them all in furnace.
So the reason that this does so much damage is because normally the thing is that pulse grenade can only amp up to 5 times, right? So it's increasing the damage by 6%, then it's increasing the damage by 6%, and then it's increasing it up to 5 times. But if I just get 2 pulse grenades with a Echo Shard, I now get 10 sets of that damage amp, which ends up just being an insane amount of damage and increases all of the damage I do. Increases the mystic damage I do, and the physical damage. And the grenades alone just do a lot of damage. And because they get bigger, it makes my characters stronger. And the obvious thing to do now is to pair it with mystic range. This is about where I realized that I got mystic burst earlier. I don't think I realized that I did. But I get mystic vulnerability here, and I think I forgot. This was not the exact moment that I got Mystic Burst and swapped it for the range one. But you do want the range increase because I want my AoEs to be bigger. I did not have swap here, else this would have been more doable. He got stunned by the golem, thankfully. My swap came off cooldown, and boom, we got a nice little kill. But most players right now, I don't think I've ever seen anybody else get Echo Shard on this character. By the way, I have 8 skill points that I just realized. Here's my skill build usually. I do 1 point Kinetic Carbine usually, max out this, 1 point Paradoxical Swap, and that'll be max second. Because I want the cast range to be longer. But you don't really have to max this first anymore because you get the cooldown reduction with the first skill point. And I do like the damage increase with the second skill point, but I don't necessarily prioritize it over Pulse Grenade. Alright, watch the Ancients here. Watch how fast these die. If you've ever played Paradox, you will know that killing those is a pain in the ass. Because it takes like 3 clips or something. It takes forever. But now with Echo Shard, all you do is throw the bomb down, you Echo Shard it, and you throw another bomb down. And all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I just cleared the whole Ancients in one clip. It's amazing. You do need Tesla bullets to help out with that. Oh man, look at all those golden statues. Okay, good. I noticed them. I do not pass up golden statues. They're too good for me. I decided to cross the other side of the map because my side was pretty cleared out. There really wasn't much behind me, and I didn't want to end up getting killed. And this is why I did it. I saw the Ancients on the other side were available. So I'm just going to very quickly take these. I didn't necessarily want to stay. But 2 buffs. Love a good buff. Alright, now on the map, what do I want to do? It's not really any point to push out with Lash here because there's no walker. There is that neutral camp where I could go punch the soul thingy. But that's kind of mediocre, so I'm just going to run to some of my spots that I typically grab treasures from. Because I know that's going to increase my overall... It's like another way to farm, you know? It's not as direct of souls, but it is good. Little casting here is nice. Spirit power cooldown reduction. Let's see how they do. Yes, fight me in this. That's so funny. That was such a good moment. They were like, oh, we can kill this guy. I'm like, stand on me, assholes. They did. They stood in front of me. They're thinking like, oh, we can kill Paradoxes. This guy isn't hard to kill. And then they both stood on my bomb, and I did a huge amount of damage. Obviously, the Lash helped too, of course, but you know. I'm going to ditch because I felt like there was nothing else to do. I do see on the map that the blue man is there, but a couple denies here. Don't limit his gold game by just a little bit. And now I'm going to go cover this Moe and Krill. JK, there's a new creep wave that I would love to last hit. Don't let him last me. This guy lasted the crap out of me, dude. Broke my ankle. So now I'm going to head to the Moe and Krill. He's all good. I only threw 1 down. But realistically, I could have done 2. Or at least refreshed it. People are fighting near me. I really want to do the punchy thingies, but I should go help. Trying to get a good vantage point on where I should throw my spells.
See what happens.
I almost got her, dude. Should have used my 3 a lot earlier. Does make you run faster. I'm gonna throw these on the ground, just in case somebody goes on me. And I end up dying. That was kind of bad. I didn't use my skills super effective there. I also have like a huge amount of souls that I should be spending to make my character better. So 2 things. I got Mystic Slow, which is going to make the pulse grenades do more slow, and also the more spirit power is good. And then I also bought improved reach with my money to make the AoE even bigger on this. So now the pulses are going to start bigger, and they're going to grow much bigger too. So that's all good. I still have this Mystic Burst. I do eventually sell it, I believe, for something else. And also I could have upgraded my sprint boots, would have been good, because then my movement speed would be higher, and my resistance to slow would be in the game. So those are important. But usually I keep my weapons all the same at this point. I usually just get the 4th weapon and I stop touching those unless I have item slot issues and I want to spend money on like a better weapon. But pretty much this double bomb thing really unlocks your hero in a lot of ways. I remember this Mystic. If I have my swap there, I probably... Actually, I did have my swap. I just missed it. I actually almost killed him too. He did eat the bombs pretty well, but I took more damage than I expected to, so that was kind of embarrassing. I don't remember if they ended up killing her. No, they didn't. She actually escaped. I was there by myself, but at least I got her to back. Is one upside to my death, but I shouldn't have died like that with my net worth this high. But yeah, I needed to hit my swap. I should have charged my weapon. I should have done the Dumble Bomb, shot her, swapped when the echo, when the pulses were going off, and then I would have lifestealed a huge amount. So that would have been the right thing to do. I swapped my items a little bit. I sold the... I had an HP increase and I had a regen increase. I sold both and I got a heal bane. Because I looked at Abram's items, and she had quite a few lifesteal. Lifesteal. So I wanted to make sure that when I fight her next time, and she also had soul shredder bullets actually. So I just wanted to make sure next time that she didn't have as much lifesteal, because I felt like that probably would change whether or not I'm able to kill her. So my team's over there fighting, and because I'm a bit of a greedy player, I do like hitting creep waves and pushing them out. So I'm gonna go push those out and look for little buffs if I can get them. More weapon damage.
My reign has just begun.
And then I'm gonna burst. Or was I? I thought I might go run to my team. My team is very dead right now. So I'm gonna go to this 4 clump of neutrals nearby that are damaged. I'm gonna Echo Shard here to lower the cooldown on my first one. Now it kind of hits the whole room, which is great. And then I'm going to go to the next one. This is what you should be doing in downtime. Jungle very efficiently if possible. Camp to camp to camp. And then over here. Oh, there actually was one in the other room. I could have gone upstairs. This is fine though. I don't think this delay was that bad. I also could go Rejuvenator. I think this build with the Echo Shard is actually very good at contesting Rejuvenator, because they're all standing down there, right? So if I throw 2 bombs right there, pretty soon they're not going to realize how much damage they're taking, and they're going to actually have to back.
This will help when we push.
And then since we're waiting, I might as well collect boxes because there's not much else to do. Don't forget that this one's around the corner as well. So that's a really good one to pick up some quick buffs. And since I'm in here, I'm obviously going to do the circle and look for the buffs in this room. And then it's here, double bomb. Grab the one around the corner, don't forget about it. It's unfortunate I didn't reload my weapon earlier, so I took longer to take this one. Because this is being pressured, I want to defend this. I'll swap him a little closer. He's probably going to get hit by... I'm surprised he didn't. Surprised he didn't drop the wall faster, but he wanted some separation, I guess. That was fine. I basically defend the tower. I get some souls. There's a spirit urn here for some reason. I was like, oh, I'll run this. And then I realized it was across the map and like there was characters in the way, so I kind of gave up on it. Ran it back a little bit, and then I think I dropped it somewhere. Spirit urn is good to utilize, but it can be a little throwy at times. I'm buying something. I don't remember what I got. Escalating exposure. I could upgrade Boundless Spirit. I ended up doing escalating exposure. I'm going to pause for a second and talk about that. So I'm not 100% sure if this item is that great yet, but it doesn't do extra spirit resist reduction on the first level anymore. It gives me bonus health, a little bit of spirit resist, which is fine. But every 0.7 seconds, it will increase the spirit amp against my target. So hypothetically, this is pretty good because the pulses are at 0.8 interval actually. So every time this pulse goes off, it should be applying escalating exposure. It actually lines up really nicely. So hypothetically, if somebody takes a bunch of these, they should be taking a lot more spirit damage to the target, which is great if they're getting hit with like 10 pulse grenade procs. So hypothetically, this should work good. But I haven't looked at numbers yet to see whether or not it is good. It might just be better to increase my spirit with Boundless, whatever the heck it's called. This one, Boundless Spirit. That one might just be better.
The blood will flow down Broadway.
I'll have to check the numbers later. Alright, my team's fighting. At some point, I do have to show up to fights. Here I am helping. I'm helping, certainly. But because we won this fight, we can now go do a little push. However, the tower's already killed because my team probably did that shit without me. But they're all kind of alive, so I decided to back. That's because they got the boss buff. So when I saw that orb, and I was like, oh, I want that orb. It's like, can I jump and get it? No, I cannot. I have to go out this way. Get that buff, of course. Always get the buff. And then I was like, oh, 800 free souls? Don't mind if I do. I think there's a buff to the left that I briefly saw, but I didn't grab it. Bummer. What do I buy next? I sold the little thing finally. I have a spirit armor right now. I don't remember what I purchased in this circumstance. Oh, I upgraded superior cooldown, I think, is what I got. So, and I usually put the extra point into swap. The reason is because I could level up pulse grenade to lower the cooldown, but ultimately I'm reliant on both pulse grenade and echo shard in terms of their cooldown. So if I lower the pulse grenade cooldown but not the echo shard cooldown, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So I'd rather do the extra cooldown reduction to swap, since swap is a good nuke and it gives me lifesteal.
Our walker is under attack.
So at this point I'm just playing the map basically. I got a swap on one. It was a little bit late though, but I did about 500 to her there.
The spirit earth is waiting to be claimed.
But this didn't feel that great. The fight kind of felt over to me. At this point I'm like, I gotta kill these turrets before they kill my teammates.
Bombs ready. Target neutralized.
Okay, worked out. Any stun that pairs with my pulse grenades are obviously very good. Just does a lot of damage. I am a sucker for picking up this 110 souls that are in a random location on the map. I'm also a sucker for killing ancients because it gives you like 700 souls. It's just really good. Look how much damage that did. That was like 1600 damage here. Escalating exposure seems to work quite good, I gotta say. That seemed really high. One thing I don't like about watching replays is the colors are I was going to say good for colorblind people. That part's fine. The downside is that it's harder to tell in the replay which base is mine, because I'm used to seeing like red and green, you know? What am I buying? I don't know. I think I upgraded my spirit armor to be level 2. So now I have much higher spirit armor. This also gives you spirit power, which is fine. I also upgraded my boots. At some point I remember to do that, which is good. But yeah, from here you can kind of buy whatever you want. Sometimes I will... I'm gonna pause for a second. Sometimes I will upgrade. I'll pick up a weapon basically because it does increase your damage a decent amount. Crippling headshot is one of the cool ones because it will reduce your opponent's bullet resist and spirit resist. I more care about the spirit resist because I'm doing a lot of spirit damage, but I do some physical damage too. So the extra spirit resist is pretty nice if you can land a headshot at all during this engagement. I don't think I've ever bought Frenzy before, but it's not a bad idea potentially. When you're low health, you'd be running really fast, and you would attack faster, and you'd have bullet resist, which is kind of cool. I wouldn't get glass cannon because it's mostly going to increase your physical damage, and I'm not really a physical damage hero. Lucky shot could work because it is a crit item, but the problem with it is that it mostly increases your physical damage. It's not going to make like Tesla bullets or Mystic shot better because it doesn't. You can't crit on that extra item damage, so I wouldn't get that. I probably won't get Ricochet because I don't really need AoE. Ricochet is mostly an item that you get if you need an AoE, and then it's fantastic. So the items that I usually get are Spiritual Overflow. This one's cool. It gives you cooldown reduction. It gives you Spirit Lifesteal. And if you shoot people enough, you get 50 bonus spirit power and you get 35% fire rate. This got buffed recently, so it's actually pretty good as an item. So you could buy Spiritual Overflow or Crippling Headshot. Those would be the two that I would probably buy if I wanted to dump 6k into an item. And hypothetically, you could do like Shadow Weave or something like that, or Silencer or Vampiric Burst if you really wanted some extra lifesteal or something. But I'm probably getting either this one or this one. You could also do something like Leech if you want, to give yourself a bunch of lifesteal. It's a way to stay alive, obviously, but with this, once I started doing Echo Shard, I cared less about lifesteal because I just do so much damage with Pulse Grenade that I don't really care that much about lifesteal. Basically, any hero can die to you if they stand in your Pulse Grenades, so I don't feel as bad about needing lifesteal. And you also get health from Paradoxical Swap, and if they take more damage from Pulse Grenade, then Paradoxical Swap will do more damage and thus lifesteal me more. But hypothetically, I could also buy Siphon Bullets or Inhibitor as well. This lowers the damage that they deal and also slows them. Inhibitor might be cool because it would keep them in the pulse grenades longer. Siphon Bullets could be cool if there's a longer fight. I could just keep my raw HP higher, and it gives you bullet resist as well. So those are kind of some of my options. I probably wouldn't get one of these, but some games you might want Debuff Remover or Metal Skin or something. But generally, I kind of feel... I used to get Metal Skin sometimes against Hazes, but you don't really need it as much now because you have because Time Wall actually works against it. So those are my late game item option choices. I wouldn't get Mystic Reaver, but it doesn't work with small damage over time. You could get Curse. Curse would be good. Refresher could work. Diviner's Kevlar could work. Get a bunch of barriers that you could use when you use your ultimate, which gives you cooldown reduction and Spirit Lifesteal. That one's pretty good. But yeah, at this point, I'm basically buying like a weapon or something. Anyways, those are just my late game item thoughts that I feel like after playing this character a bunch. Did about 1,000 damage there with Pulse Grenade to the pocket. But thankfully the Bebop hooked me. I'm gonna remove this by going back 10 seconds. Hook from the ally through 2 bombs. That way, if they do want to chase, they have to run through the pain, which is not going to be fun. A little dip in the pool here. I ended up getting the swap on her still, which is nice. And there's 4 heroes there, it feels very good. They're kind of separated here. I should have done this earlier. I thought he just ran a circle around me. I was very confused where he went. First one was not good. Don't mind if I do. Free souls. Our Walker's under attack? Oh, it's in a different lane. I thought maybe Lash would solve it. Is that 200 souls on the ground? Or is this 4 jungle camps? Why wouldn't I take these? Is this a lane that I could push over here, even though there's 5 heroes dead? Could I run this Spirit Urn across the map? Alright, this is bad. I should be with my team. All of their characters are dead. I can literally be in their base shredding things. And instead I'm like compounding our advantage. Which is good, but this is overkill for sure. Oh, another weapon that I have been thinking about getting, or a spirit item, is the one that increases your spirit damage. Surge of Power might be really good. It gives you movement speed after you use it for 6 seconds. It gives you a little fire rate bonus and increases the spirit power of that one weapon or spell by 34. This might be worth getting with Pulse Grenade because it probably increases the damage by a decent amount. Now, the scaling on this isn't that good. It's 0.5, but that's per pulse, right? So if you think about the course of the... If we basically multiply that by 5, if somebody gets hit by 5 pulses, then the spirit power that we put into it is really 2.5. So in some ways, I think it might be worth to enhance, because that plus the fact that it's stacking damage is really going to go up a lot. So anyways, watch how fast I can kill this thing when it hits the ground. It just kind of died, you know? I did, what, 2,000 some spirit damage between Tesla bullets and Mystic Shot and all the damage amp. It's like, it's giga fast. It's really, really fast. So before we go, I just want to look at the graphs really quick. Let's look at the... Where was the souls per minute? That's one thing that I thought was interesting. Here's my graph, basically. I was basically sitting at a good speed, and this is about when I got Echo Shard. I mean, Tesla bullets are good. They're going to increase my souls per minute. But once you get the Echo Shard, you really just jump up into this big territory, and this is me on the top. I just basically sat there the rest of the game because now my weapon is very strong. This graph increasing is me AFKing even harder from my team. But if we look at my damage dealt by type, this is my graph. So here's my spread. It's like pretty even on what's doing damage. But as once I get the Echo Shard, look at how much damage his Pulse Grenade. It like completely breaks out wide. And that's the cool thing about the double Pulse Grenades, that it doesn't matter what other way I'm dealing damage. All of it is going to be higher because they're getting hit by more Pulse Grenades. But the fact of the matter is still that it's doing a lot of damage. And actually, the numbers are slightly wrong. The third column, the teal one, it says Citadel Ability, Chrono Pulse Grenade Amp. That's probably the extra damage that I'm dealing from the Pulse Grenades amplifying each other. So if I add those together, it's really doing like 16,000 damage total for my game. So my kills were generally top of the game until here, where I got a little stagnant. Lane stats, got more souls, got more kills, got more last hits. He outdied me by a little bit, and he did more player damage, but I just out-healed it, so I was like, okay, who cares? So, yeah, I thought this was a good example of the Echo Shard, and that is Paradox. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I'll make more replay commentaries in the future, as well as VOD uploads. All right, goodbye.